USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Feeling stressed? Take a moment for yourself with Heyday. Stroll through rows of golden wheat, tend to cute barnyard animals, and discover the joys of a digital farm retreat. You don't have to hop in a car or catch a plane. Escape to the farm at the tap of a finger. With Heyday, you're not just tending to a farm, you're tending to yourself. Heyday. Search Heyday, that's Hay space DAY, in your favorite app store. Heyday is a free-to-play mobile game and offers optional in-app purchases and random rewards.
What'd you say?
I just think this is ridiculous.
What'd you say? Say it again.
I think this judgment...
Say it again. Say what you said again.
I think this is...
Say what you said exactly. Say what you said again.
This is the plaintiff, Jonathan. He says he purchased what he thought was a new iPhone 6 from the defendant and soon discovered the phone was stolen and blacklisted and can't be hooked up. When he confronted the defendant, the guy basically told him to bug off. He's now out $1,000 and is suing the defendant for just that. This is the defendant, Travis Ramkishan. He says he purchased the phone from someone else, gave the plaintiff his contact information, and told him his beef was with the other guy, not him. Bottom line, the phone was in a sealed box when he sold it to the plaintiff. He had no idea there would be any problems with it and owes the plaintiff nothing. He's accused of being phony.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome in.
Okay, Jonathan, you are suing Travis Ramkishan for $1,000, $700 that you paid him for an iPhone that you can't use, and $300 that you paid to try to unlock the iPhone that you found you couldn't use because it was stolen. Talk to me.
Yeah, that's correct. I got a new job, and to kind of treat myself for this new job, I bought an iPhone. It was kind of my first iPhone, and so I bought it on eBay, and I wanted to buy it locally so I could have a look at it.
Why didn't you just go to the Apple store?
Because it's cheaper to get it on eBay, and I guess I feel
why
like...
is it cheaper to get it on eBay? What's the regular price of, what phone were you looking at? The iPhone 6, 64 gigabytes? What's the regular price on that?
$850, I think.
Do you know the regular price on that since you deal in these?
When you buy it from the store, it's the base price plus the tax, and it usually comes up to around $850.
Okay. So he was selling it for?
$600.
Wait, you don't know? Why are you looking at him for the answer? I'm asking you. What'd you pay for it?
Well, I paid around $700.
Do you think it's demanding to know how much you paid? How much did he pay?
Not overly.
Not overly, right? How much did he pay, Mr. Ramkishan?
$650.
How's that sound to you?
Looks exactly right.
Okay. So you pay $650 and you found it on eBay. Did you pay for it through eBay?
I paid through PayPal.
Okay. Off the eBay site?
No, and that's where part of the discrepancy lies, yeah.
What did you do?
So I went to his house, looked at the iPhone. The iPhone was shrink wrapped, looked brand new. I was like, okay, cool, you seem like a nice guy.
Didn't you wonder how he got it?
I asked him, and he told me he had bought it for his sister, I believe, and she didn't want it.
You had bought it for your cousin, and?
So my cousin wanted an iPhone for her boyfriend, so it's like Jonathan said, I said we can buy it off eBay because it tends to be cheaper. You don't have to pay like the sales tax, and it works out better. So I bought the phone. The ad said it was space gray. So then when we got the phone, I mean, it was still sealed on the box like the ad said. It was just that the box said silver. So she really wanted the space gray, so I said...
So why didn't you just return it to the seller and say, you lied to me, it's not space gray?
Well, it was close to Christmas time, so I said we can just sell it back later. I mean, we bought it for $700. I thought maybe I could get more later, so I just left it.
Okay,
So-
it turns out the phone's a stolen phone, right?
Huh?
The phone is a stolen
Oh,
phone.
I don't know this though. I just got.
Well, you know it now, don't you?
Well, I still don't know for sure.
Okay. What happens when you get the phone?
Well, I signed up. You know, I have T-Mobile as my service, and I bought a T-Mobile, bought a new SIM card, put it in there, and it worked for 2 days, and then it stopped working, and I called them, and they said it was blacklisted.
And what did T-Mobile say was, what did that mean, blacklisted?
Means it was marked as a stolen phone.
Okay. So what did you do?
So I called Travis, left a couple messages, and then he wrote me back via email and text messages, and basically he said, there's nothing I can do. I bought this phone from this person, talk to him.
And did you try?
I emailed the person, but the person didn't respond, as I kind of assumed.
There's a big surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now let me just ask you a question. You had found the item on eBay, but you didn't buy it on eBay, and then you started to answer, but then you didn't finish. What did you guys do? You saw the phone, you talked to him, and then you both decided that you would cheat eBay out of its fee and just do the transaction with each other, correct?
Well, let's take a step back.
No,
and
let's
say,
not. Let's take a step forward. Correct?
Well, because what you're saying is incorrect.
Okay, go ahead.
I did buy it on eBay. I won the auction. We conversed through eBay. I went to his house, and he said, look, I'll cut you a deal if you pay me directly through PayPal. And
As opposed to what?
As opposing using PayPal through eBay. Like,
Right, so then what do you think is happening when you do that? Then eBay's cut out of their cut, right? That's the only reason to do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to cut eBay out of their cut.
Well,
Right.
Right. Okay, well, everybody's fine with that, all right? Except for until something happens, then you wanted eBay's protection, and eBay said, you're on your own, pal, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that was shocking. Okay, so you reach out to him, he says tough. You reach out to the other guy, he doesn't even say anything. And then you spend another $300. Tell me about that.
So, I'll clarify and say, because it's incorrect in the statement, I spent $100 trying to get it unlocked. So I basically had this phone for a couple months. I was trying to figure out what to do with it. I spent a lot of time on the internet trying to figure out how, what to do with this.
What do you mean you spent $100 trying to get it on? What did you just say? I didn't understand you.
I paid a service to try to unlock it for me. So I
$300, right?
$100.
You're suing for $3.
I'm suing for $1,000, yes.
Yes. So if you paid $100, why are you suing for $300?
Because the additional $200, because the amount of time that I spent trying to deal with this is incredible.
Okay. All right. So were they able to unlock it?
No.
No, because it's a stolen phone.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so I understand why, well, let me get back to you in a moment. Can I hear from you about why you're selling stolen phones?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So even if the defendant didn't know the phone was stolen, does he have to return the money?
Yeah, he has to return the money because it's his responsibility. He didn't buy the phone from someone of a reasonable source.
That's a fair point, but he's saying, look, I bought it. I thought I bought it legitimately. I'm an innocent person here too. You're nodding.
I don't know. I just think that if he didn't know that it was really true, I would say I was for the other guy.
Okay, I'm going to go in the back. What do you think?
Guilty.
Guilty. Okay, it's not a criminal case, but hell, throw him in jail. Let's go inside the courtroom.
It was never my intention to sell a stolen phone.
Well, you weren't horrified enough to give him the money back and take it to the police and take your loss and say, once you realized the phone was stolen that you had sold.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Did you steal a bunch of phones yourself?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been arrested?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've sold several things on eBay before.
You've stolen?
No, I sold.
Sold. Okay.
Basically, I mean, this phone was sealed in the box. Like, it was never opened, anything like that. So once he opens it, it's already depreciated in value. And who's to say that he hasn't replaced the phone with, something else? Do you have
any paperwork to indicate that the phone is blacklisted?
Yeah, I do.
Let me see that. If the phone is blacklisted, the phone is blacklisted.
Right.
Right?
The thing I would like to add, sorry, didn't interrupt you, is that the IME number, which is the phone that they use to, the number they use to track the phone, is listed on the outside of the box. So
your point is
that he had 3 months to look up this number on the box to determine.
Nobody's going to do that. I mean, if that's how he got the phone, you got the phone one of two ways: the way you're saying, or the way a thief gets the phone. So I don't know. I don't know which of those two is true. I do know this: he's a bona fide purchaser who pays $650. at the end, you still got to be able to sell. If you're selling a guy a phone, the implied warranty is that the phone works and it's not stolen. It doesn't magically become his problem. It's your problem. So I am going to order you to return the $650, and I'm going to confiscate the stolen property. You have it here, correct?
No.
But about what?
No, I don't have. Nobody asked me to bring the phone.
Nobody has to ask you that. You're asking for your money back. You're asking to undo a deal. You think you're going to keep the phone?
No.
Doesn't sound reasonable, right?
Yes, if you look at it short-sighted like that.
Short-sighted, or if I just spell it out to you who
no,
don't
what I'm
see
saying,
there.
Can I speak?
No, you cannot. Just bring the phone. All right? So here's what's going to happen. When the phone surfaces, all right, I'm ordering you to return the $650. As far as the $300 that you pay to unlock a stolen phone, that's on you, pal, or the $100 that you pay. That's on you. I'm not going to order him to pay that. You should have mitigated your damage. As soon as you knew that it was a stolen phone, you have no business owning it or having it or trying to make it work. That's on you.
I called the police.
That's on you. So
have you
when
ever called
that
the police
surfaces,
in New York?
when he turns over the confiscated phone, then you need to pay him back his $650. That is my judgment.
That's.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I just think this is ridiculous.
What'd you say? Say it again.
I think this
Say it again. Say what you said again.
I think this is.
Say what you said exactly. Say what you said again.
I think this is.
Right. You did. You have 24 hours to bring the phone personally to the courthouse. That's how long you have if you want those $650.
This is not a fair trial.
So there's a plaintiff, and you know that you really shouldn't speak like that in a courtroom.
I just want my money back from what I.
Yeah, you want the money and you want to keep the phone, right?
No, I don't.
Where's the object?
I gave it to my nephew because the phone's only worth. It's like it's a Game Boy.
Don't you understand? You've got to return the object if you want the money. What's so hard to understand about that?
There's nothing hard to understand about that at all. You're just missing the context.
Head right around the corner this way. The documents are waiting for you right there. Right this way.
Jonathan, right this way.
You feeling on this outcome?
I mean, I wasn't sure how it was going to play out to begin with. I mean, I didn't.
What are you doing with stolen merchandise?
It's not like
What's the matter with you?
It's not like I got the phone and it says, this is stolen, let me sell it to him. I mean, if I knew it was stolen, I wouldn't even try to sell it. That's illegal.
What do you think, Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, FYI, here's what we found out. The plaintiff did not return the phone. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Nada Chuang Chualai. She says the defendant's dog attacked her dog Starbucks, and the defendant refuses to pay because he says it was her dog who was the aggressor. Well, guess what? She has video evidence how things went down that day. She's suing for $1,608 in vet bills and lost work and expects to get awarded that today. This is the defendant, Oscar Nye. He says the plaintiff's dog snapped at his dog Cujo and latched onto his throat. Once they sprayed water on them to separate them, they ran into the house because the plaintiff's dog was charging at them. The woman is making things up about the incident. He can't wait to see this so-called video evidence, even if it exists. And besides, everyone in the neighborhood knows the plaintiff's dog is aggressive. He's accused of a doggone dilemma.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's dog attacked her dog Starbucks, and she wants her vet bills. But the defendant says the plaintiff's dog was the aggressor. It's the case of You got a lot of nerve.
Natat Shawanshawala?
Yes.
How'd that go? All right, you're suing Oscar Nye for $1,608 in vet bills and loss of work because, according to you, his dog attacked your dog. Tell me what happened.
So I asked my roommate to walk my dog that day in July 7. So she walked around the block, nothing happened with the leash. And when we enter the complex, his dog is come out of the unit unleashed.
Okay.
And then his dog started to bite my dog in the face.
Okay, so you two live in the same apartment?
Complex.
Complex?
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't there and you don't know what happened personally, but this is what your roommate told you?
Yes.
All right, that his dog got out and his dog came to your dog and attacked your dog.
Yes.
What happened to your dog?
The face got ripped off and the jaw.
The face, I'm sure, did not get ripped off. So there was a bite to the face?
Bite to the face.
Okay.
Sorry if my language.
Did he have to get stitches?
She.
Okay, did she have to get stitches?
They didn't do any stitches, but there's
What kind of dog is it?
Pit Bull and Labrador mix.
So the Pit Bull's a victim, or is your dog?
Pit Bull is a victim.
What kind of dog is your dog?
My dog is a Husky mix, Your Honor.
Okay. Doesn't happen very often.
That's rare. Very rare.
Doesn't happen very often. But anyway, all right. So do you have the vet bills?
Yes.
When you come home, do you talk to the defendant?
I talked to him right after the situation happened, the accident happened.
Okay.
On the phone.
Okay.
And he's saying that my dog leash is weak. I think my
roommate?
My roommate trying to pull like this, and then they're trying to separate the dog. And then grab this accident.
She
and then
did.
It's
okay.
Come out.
All right. Is your roommate here?
No, but I think she's write a notify statement to you.
Okay. Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have that? Absolutely. Do you know him?
He just moved in. He just moved in July.
Okay. Your dog's name is Starbucks?
Yes.
Okay, then the dog that had no leash was about 1 or 2 inches taller, came up to Starbucks, was putting its head on top of Starbucks. Then I heard growling, and both dogs were showing teeth and biting each other. Another man in this area had a hose and started to spray the dogs. Okay. What's your understanding of what happened? Were you there?
Yes, I was.
Okay, what happened?
So I was in the house at the time. I was unpacking my stuff, and then...
Were you moving in?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
And so my friend comes up to me, and she goes, "Hey, you need to come downstairs. Your dog just ran out the door." And so I go downstairs.
Had the dog confrontation already happened?
No, it has not.
Okay.
I have a video of everything, so
okay.
You can see that later.
All right, go ahead.
And so I run outside. The dogs are kind of just out there sniffing each other. And so at the time, there were, it was July 4th weekend, so there were a bunch of people like hanging out. And the person who had the dog with her at the time told me that she was the sitter, not the roommate, because I haven't seen her since that day. And so...
She was a short-term roommate.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Okay,
she was
so
on that what is it called?
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Well, I'm not really sure about those details, so I'm just going to say that I never saw her since.
Right.
And,
Which would
and so
make sense.
I run out just in time. I'm like, all right, my dog, I got to pull my dog away. And right as I was going to do that, they start snarling each other, and Starbucks grabs my dog, Cujo, on the neck. And at this point, Starbuck, after pulling a little bit, the leash just snaps, and the sitter or the roommate just sort of just backs off, like she didn't want to get involved. And a gentleman who was outside the gate happened to see what was going on. So he grabs a hose and he proceeds to spray both dogs down, and eventually the other dog lets go, and I grab my dog and I just pull him back into the house.
Okay.
And so eventually I get a call like around like 10, and it's her, and she's telling me how she's gonna sue me, and like she's gonna have my dog put down, and she's gonna put me down.
She's gonna put you down?
She's gonna put me down, and I don't know. I didn't really understand.
Are you kidding, or did she say, I'm gonna put you down?
No, she literally said, "I will put you and your dog down." And, there was a lot of yelling, and I didn't really understand what she was saying. So I was like, well, fine, have it your way.
We have your former roommate's taped testimony. Is that it? Give me a moment. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Mara. I'm just reporting that on July 7th, I was staying at Nikki's house, and she called and asked me to take Starbucks for a walk. So I took him for a walk around the block. No problems with his leash. She was pleasant. I took my key and I opened up the secured area, came in to come back into the house. And then I saw on the right side of me, the first house, their garage was open and their dog came out and their body was over top of Starbucks. And I was gently trying to tug Starbucks to come over to me, and the chain broke off, and the other dog was growling and started biting Starbucks. One of the neighbors over across the way, he took a hose out and sprayed the hose and calmed them down. Owen was his name.
Is there an Owen, or is she talking about you?
Owen was the person.
Then this other guy, out of the blue, comes over. He brought over a leash for Nikki, and I don't know how that all ended up, how that was. But anyway, those are the facts that I saw.
Okay. All right, let me ask you a question. What is she talking about? Somebody brought over. Who's Owen, first of all?
Owen was the gentleman who helped us out with the hose.
All right, and what is she talking about that somebody brought a leash to your house?
Yeah, Oscar actually dropped this off in front of my door.
He did?
Yeah. He said on the phone, I'm gonna drop this off. Just make sure that you put this on your dog.
You bought her dog a muzzle?
Well, that wasn't my muzzle, actually. Owen
and I wanted
came
to give it back.
me with that and says, that dog is dangerous and it needs to be on a muzzle.
Do you have an affidavit from Owen?
I do not.
So,
because I didn't know that this was gonna happen.
Well, you know what? You knew you were being sued, and you constantly talk about how vicious her dog is. Why wouldn't you bring proof of the stuff that you're saying? I don't understand. All right, in any event, let me just ask you a question. When you get home, do you take your dog to the vet?
Right away.
Okay. Can I please have the vet bills? You said that you have a video of the actual attack taking place?
I do, Your Honor.
I have to.
You both have it?
Mm-hmm.
And you both brought it?
Yeah.
So you both think it helps you? I can't wait to see it. Okay, how do you have it? In your telephone?
It's on my phone.
And how do you have it? In your telephone?
Yes.
Both of you hold up your phones. I picked that one. All right. This has a bigger screen.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, before I play this, you spoke to him that night, and what did he say?
Okay, let me first start. When I got home, I opened the door, and the blood go all the way from the front door to the crate where she put my dog. So I called him. I said, hey, I think she bleed a lot, and I have to take her to the emergency room right now. And is that any way that if you can give me $200? And he said, no, I'm not gonna pay a dime for that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna place a lawsuit against you then. And then he said, okay, well, before you do that, your English is kind of broken. So do you want to go improve your English first before you do that?
Ooh.
And that made me fly.
It made you fly.
Yes.
Did you say that?
I'm start to.
Did you say that?
Well, I told her that I had trouble understanding what she was saying, and because...
Did you tell her she should improve her English before she goes to court?
Well, when I said it, I meant I couldn't hear what she was saying over the phone, but then she took it that way, and then I just kind of
Did you say that you need
yes,
to improve your... Okay, that's not... you're not worried about whether I'm going to understand her. You're worried about hurling the insult at her.
So if the defendant's dog was off-leash, plaintiff's dog was on a leash, does it matter which dog attacked first?
Yes, it's the one that was off the leash that is guilty.
Period.
Period.
Is that true, that it doesn't matter which dog bit first?
Right, because the owner wasn't in control of their dog.
So it's an issue of controlling the dog that both of them could have avoided it if both dogs were on a leash.
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me. Going inside the courtroom.
May I ask where you're from?
Thailand.
May I ask where you're from?
California.
Yeah, I know. But like, what's the heritage?
Chinese.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't trying to like threat him or anything, but...
Okay, well, you're both angry is what's going on, and
Yes.
both of you think it's the other dog's fault, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but first I want to see the video. Just press it.
Yeah, just press it.
Okay. There's your dog coming out. Her dog goes to see your dog. Your dog is putting its like head over the dog. It's such a weird thing to do. And now is when there's a lot of activity is when people are when all hell breaks loose. Yeah, the roommate's really not helping. There's a bunch of other citizens trying to... Where are you in this one? Are you in this?
I was in the blue. I put down the box at the beginning.
They're both wagging their tails, and everything's fine until it's not. You put down the box. By the time you put down the box, is the biting already happening or the growling?
The activity starts when I approach them, like right as I approach them.
All right. So here's the problem that you have. It is not a question of which dog is the, quote, aggressor or which dog nipped first. They're not humans. That's what you do when humans have a fight. When dogs have a fight, you ask, what did the owner do that became a problem? One of the things you say is, well, that was a weak leash. The weak leash wouldn't matter if your dog hadn't gotten out and her dog, even if, which I don't really see her dog, I see your dog going right up to her dog and putting its head on her, like to show her who's boss. I guess I don't know what dog, I can't speak dog, okay? But, you know, and then I see her dog get angry, and even if the dog nips first, I don't care. The dog is in her own space on a leash with a walker when your dog gets out. That's the end of the discussion, all right? So, as for the $478 in vet bills, I am ordering you to pay that. What's this $1,000 for 20 hours of lost work at $50 an hour? What's that about? What do you do for a living?
Financial advice.
So how did you lose 20 hours of work?
I have to take Starbucks to the vet, and also next morning until like 3 o'clock, I came home that night. And next morning, I cannot go to work.
Okay, can I see the $130 follow-up vet bill, or you handed that up too?
And the dog picture.
And what proof do you have, by the way, that you lost $50 an hour? Do you have any evidence from your employer or something like that?
I have my bank statement.
Yes, that would be sufficient proof, but I'm not going to award you loss of work. And I understand that you're angry, and you have a right to be angry. You have a right to be angry because he has the hubris to have his dog run out, so he's at fault, and then he not only drops a muzzle off at your front door, but he tells you you should learn English before you sue him. You have a right to be angry. I'm ordering him to pay you the $478 plus the $130, which is $608, plus, of course, your court costs that you had to file in order to be able to get to court. That's my verdict. Pay the lady.
And here's the defendant out in the hallway. You're on the losing end of this case. How do you think you look?
I just can't believe it. Like, I thought, her dog bit my dog, and then, her dog had a history of aggression. Like, I thought I had it for sure.
Yeah, well, you have to have the dog on a leash.
Yeah, I
didn't
realize that.
I mean, you lose it right there. Are you going to keep the dog on a leash for sure? And now you realize that's the law, right?
For sure,
All right.
for sure.
All right, this way. All right, so step on in here. You didn't get everything you sued for. What's your feeling?
Well, at least the judge is really fair. At least I have all the vet bill and everything. But all my time, I spend for my baby. It's okay.
Yeah, Starbucks, your baby.
Yes.
What did you mean when you told him, I'm going to put him down? You said to the guy.
Because I'm really angry the way he...
Well, what does put him down mean?
Put his life like in misery.
You think you did?
Kind of, yes.
You're happy about that?
Very.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, you know, the leash law is absolute, that you have a duty to have your dog on a leash in public in most cities, and if you don't, it doesn't matter which dog attacked first because you could have avoided it by keeping the dogs apart. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
These are the plaintiffs, Nicholas and Peter Bruni. Nicholas says the defendant sold them an ATV with a cracked engine and is ignoring their request for a refund. The man should be ashamed of himself because he took advantage of them, and what comes around in life goes around. They're suing for $1,350, the amount paid. This is the defendant, Sean Seberg. He says the plaintiff looked at the ATV with a friend of his who was knowledgeable about quads, and he bought it. He had no knowledge there was anything wrong with the ATV when he sold it. Neither did the plaintiff's so-called expert. And he owes nothing because he sold it as is. He's accused of four-wheeling his way into court.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say the defendant sold them a bum ATV with a cracked engine, but the defendant says they test drove it before buying it, so they knew what they were getting. It's the case of you cracked me up.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Nicholas Bruni and Peter Bruni, you're the dad?
Yes.
Okay. You are suing Sean Seberg?
Yep.
For $1,350 that you paid him to buy an ATV, which according to you is defective, and he knew it. Tell me what happened.
August 17th, I texted him about a quad that I saw on Facebook. And
a car?
Quad.
Quad. Got it. Okay.
And he wanted $1,350 for it. I was supposed to go that night, and he said he was going out to dinner and kept putting it off to nighttime so that it was dark and I couldn't see what was wrong with the quad. And it was at night. We went to go look at the quad. It started getting dark. And we took it for a test drive. I rode it.
Why do you go check out a car at night? I'm like, oh, it's like it's his fault that you're checking out a car at night? I mean, a quad at night? Go ahead.
And I took it for
I love when plaintiffs start the story that, well, it was nighttime. Well, okay, if you don't have eyeballs and flashlights, then maybe nighttime's not a good time to be inspecting a car. All right. So you take it out, you ride it, you like it.
Yes, it had a tick in the engine. It got louder after I rode it. He said it got louder because it had thinner oil in it.
Why did he put thinner oil in it? Why did you believe what he said? So apparently there's a problem, right? Okay, so you hear the tick, and you say to him, it's ticking, and he says, don't worry about that. It's just that I have oil that's too thin in there. Just you put the thicker oil, you won't hear that.
Yeah.
And you trust him? Why? Because you've known him all your life? I can't hear your answers.
I never met him.
Right. So why would you trust him? Were you with him, Dad?
Yes.
Okay. And when he reports that he hears a ticking, you don't talk to him about maybe this isn't such a good idea, let's have a mechanic look at it or something?
I did. I explained it to Nicholas. I said, Nick, it has a little bit of a tick in it. It's no big deal. I said, we can take it. We can adjust the lashings and the top end of the motor. It's not a big deal. We were okay with the ticking.
Okay.
It's just that when we got home, it got louder. When we took it off the truck to bring it inside.
That's why a person can't be okay with the ticking.
Right.
Right. Until a mechanic. Are you a mechanic?
In a power plant.
In a power plant.
Yes.
But that's why until a quad mechanic looks at it, that maybe that's not the best idea. So whose money was used to pay for this?
Mine.
You saved it up yourself?
Yeah.
Is there a bill of sale?
No, there's not.
What happened? So you bring the thing home and what happens? You discover what?
That there's a crack on the left side case, and he put JB Weld over it to hide it.
He did or somebody did? What's JB Weld?
It's like a putty that you would put together as two parts, and you rub it together in your hand, and you can put it on a piece of on a crack or something.
In order to repair the crack?
To repair
All
a piece of
right, when
metal.
you say somebody put it to hide it, is it visible to your eyeball?
Yes.
It's visible. Okay, well then they're not hiding it. I mean, they put it to fix a crack.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't exactly visible to the eyeball. The wires, I can show you in the pictures here.
Yeah.
There was wires there that you couldn't exactly see it because the wires were in the way.
So when you saw that, you no longer wanted the bike?
Well, I already had it home at that point.
Right. So what'd you do?
I texted him. It was like 40 minutes later. I was like, I don't feel right about this. He never texted me back the next day.
He just ignored you. Figured you'd go away. All right, but you don't want the bike now because there's a crack in the what?
Well, I also.
What is the item that's cracked?
The crankcase. It's in the crankcase, right where the chain goes around for the sprocket.
Do you have to take something off to see that crack?
You would have to take that JB weld off completely.
No, okay. Come on over here and show me something, Dad. I'm just trying to figure out from these pictures right here. All right, where's the JB weld?
It is right there.
Put your finger exactly on it.
Right there.
Okay, so it's a goopy thing there?
Yes, those wires were in front of it, so you really could not see it.
So who put this thing on the wires? You did too?
Nope, that was there. We moved the wires over when we were looking for the noise in the bike. We pulled the wires over to exactly see where the noise was coming from.
Okay, and is there a cover that goes on this or no?
There was no cover on there.
But they're supposed to be, right?
There's supposed to be a cover
right.
on it, yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead and go back. So how long had you owned this quad?
A few hours. I purchased the quad earlier that day.
Oh, and then I guess you saw the JB Weld and then decided to pawn it off?
No, actually, as a
Why'd
hobby.
you sell it?
Okay, so the plaintiffs heard a funny sound, bought it anyway. Are they stuck?
Yeah, they're stuck.
Because?
Because it's his fault he bought it, and he knew he heard a funny sound.
Is the funny sound enough to kill him in this case?
Yes, because if he knew there was a funny sound all along, he could have said something.
Okay, that's a true statement. What do you say?
He should have gotten it checked before he bought it if he heard a sound.
Wiser words never said. Wiser words never said going inside the courtroom.
As a hobby, I kind of I try and find a quad or dirt bike for like a cheaper price and clean it up, tune it up a little bit, sell it for a little bit more. And this one I had bought on the 17th, like you said, and I left for college the 20th. So obviously I only had a few days
When did
to
you sell it to him?
The same day, the 17th.
Okay, so you had bought it, you were leaving to college in 3 days,
Yes.
and you bought it, and then you bought it to do what? Sell it?
To, tune it up a little bit, clean it up, try and sell it
In a few hours?
Well, I figured I had a couple of days, and then I started thinking about it. I said, well, I have to sell the thing in 3 days before I leave
Okay,
for
what'd
college.
you buy it for?
$1,500.
What'd you sell it for?
$1,350.
Okay, that makes it look like you discovered something wrong with the bike. If you sold it a few hours later for whatever you could get for it, it doesn't look like you're in the business of making them better and selling them at a profit. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
I kind of realized I would have to go to school soon. I had a lot of packing to do.
You didn't know that you had packing to do and that when
Lot
you were
of
going to
family
school a few hours
obligations.
earlier, or you did?
I did.
Then
but
that's kind
I
of what.
figured it was a chance I could take, but it didn't work out, and I sold it, got it out of there, and went to
Who
college.
called you about the bike?
He messaged me on Facebook.
And when you say he, you are referring to
Nicholas.
Nicholas. And then when he comes over, who does he come with?
He came with his father and one of his buddies. I'm not sure who his friend was.
Is it that fellow there?
Yes,
okay. Who test drives the bike?
Nick and his buddy did.
Was there any negotiation about the price?
Yeah, I actually had it up for $1,500. They walked around it for a few minutes, checked it out, asked me to start it, let it idle for 5 or 10 minutes or so, let it warm up. They continued to look around it. Then he took it for a test ride, said he liked it.
He being Nicholas?
Nicholas, yes. Took it for a test ride, said he liked it, told his friend to take it for a ride. His friend took it down for a ride down the block, came back, said he liked it. Then his dad said, it has a little tick, blah, blah, blah. He said, like, what's up with that? I said, that's the way I got it. If you don't want it, I have no problem taking it home.
Okay.
And then he said, would you take $1,350 for it? And I agreed.
And then who gave you the $1,350?
Nicholas did, I believe.
Okay. And who had said, would you take $1,350?
His dad did.
Okay. So, and where did Nicholas get the money from?
I'm not sure.
Physically, where did you get the money from?
I shoveled snow the year before that, and then I finally got a job.
How old are you?
16.
How old's your friend?
16.
You're going to have to return the $1,350. How old are you?
18.
The reason that you're going to have to return the $1,350 is that you cannot contract with a 16-year-old. They're not I would make it return the $13.50 otherwise. If he was an adult, that's why I asked all the questions about who was buying it, because normally I'd have a bill of sale and I can see whose name is on it. Is it the dad's name or the kid's name? But in this case, since there is no bill of sale, I have to go with the circumstances and figure out, okay, who are you really selling it to? The fact that the dad's there is irrelevant in the eyes of the law. It matters that just who's buying it. It's his money, pulls it out of his pocket, hands it over to you. Dad negotiates it, but that often happens, you know, with somebody, an adult figure. He buys it, it's for him, he's test driving, and he's 16, he can't contract. So he is able to void this contract and to demand his money back. That's the problem with selling something to a 16-year-old. A dealer wouldn't make this mistake, and now hopefully you won't make this mistake. I'm ordering you to return the $1,350 and otherwise, let me just tell you something. Open your eyeballs, bring flashlights, or look at things that you're gonna buy in the morning, because it's an as-is sale, and I would never be returning your money if it was your dad. So word of the wise, learn something. So I'm ordering you to return the $13.50, and we'll make arrangements now for you to get back the quad. Good luck, folks.
And so the defendant has just learned that the contract you made with that plaintiff on that sale was invalid. What's your comment on that?
I think it's ridiculous, and like the judge said, I think he's lucky he's 16 and his dad didn't buy it for me, because otherwise I would have won the case.
That's right. So what did you learn about it?
Learn to not sell someone under the age of 18.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You bought it back. What are you going to do with it?
I guess I'll try and fix it up and get what it's worth for it. Take the loss.
All right. Okay. Right around this way. All right. Step on in here. He learned his lesson. You were saved by the judge. What have you learned?
Look better when I buy a quad.
Tell him.
Well, we actually had a flashlight that night, but we forgot it in the car. So I did tell him you don't go and look at these things at night, but he was he wanted to have the quad.
Well, if you buy it for him, you would have been stuck. You realize that?
Yes, I do. I realize now.
All right, Harvey, what do you got?
Okay, you know, the plaintiff won in this case only because the plaintiff was a minor. But the fact is, when you buy something, it is on you, especially if there's notice that something's wrong. It is on you to speak up, to check it out. You should check it out anyway, even if there isn't a noise. Take it to a mechanic, because if it's used, you're buying it as is almost always. But if you hear a noise, it's insane to go through the transaction before having it checked out by a professional.